Welcome to the Tea of Life podcast, where our mission is to transform every area of life by encouraging and equipping you to live the life you love and love the life you live. I am your host, Tiffany Thompson. Hi, and welcome to this episode of Tea of Life podcast. I am so excited that you have decided to join me today. And I think that I pretty much open all my podcasts by saying that exact phrase. So I'm wondering if maybe I should think about a different opening. I don't know. Anyway, I am sitting here in North Atlanta, Georgia, and I am looking out my window right now to sunshine. It has been raining for the past few days, and right now, in the middle of June, in Atlanta, Georgia, it is 73 degrees outside. It's almost noon, okay? And the wind is blowing at about 10 miles an hour, and it's absolutely beautiful outside. I am dying to be on the lake on my sailboat, but instead I'm here recording a podcast for you guys, which I love being with you too. And I'm excited that you have decided to be with me. Hopefully the weather where you are is just as fun and exciting. So today I'm going to talk about, if you could do anything, what would you do? So if you could do anything right now, anything, what would you do? And what would it take to get you there? Would it take some courage, financial independence, maybe some support from family or from the others around you? For some of you, hearing this question immediately made you think of job or maybe J-O-B. So maybe your thoughts immediately went toward a new career. For others of you, your thoughts immediately went to travel. Some may have immediately thought, I would homeschool my kiddos, or I would live on a farm, or I would sail around the world, which is actually becoming more of my family's dream, and that probably fits more into the travel part as well. But one time, I asked someone this question, and their answer was, if I could do anything, I would win the lottery. And I'm not really sure that that was really the direction that I was trying to go with this question, but I suppose it works, maybe, kinda. I don't know. I guess their thought process was that if I could win the lottery, then I could do anything I want, which actually brought me back to my original question. So there's a website, it's Quora.com, where people post random questions and random people answer them. It's actually kind of interesting. But someone posted this very same question and said, what would you do if you could do anything? It was fun and I would have to say quite entertaining to read through all those answers. One person named Natasha gave 37 answers to this question. So I guess that means that there really doesn't have to be just one answer. So some of what she was saying was, I would give myself unlimited money, which I think is kind of clever. Maybe that goes back to winning the lottery. I don't know. If I could do anything, I would give myself unlimited money. I kind of never thought of it this way because giving myself unlimited amount of something or anything like money could allow me to do anything, I guess, right? So we can definitely do a lot more anythings with unlimited money or resources. So I guess it's kind of a new way of thinking about doing anything. So she goes on to say that with all the money, she would be able to buy all the clothes, buy all the music, buy all the stuff, hence the reason that she needs all the money. She would buy a pocket dimension, which I actually had to look that up, and she would use that to put everything into. And I guess that she would need to because she would need a place to store all that stuff, right? So I think just thinking about all this stuff is actually causing me a little anxiety right now about all the stuff that she wants to buy and create a place for and store. She mentions that if she could do anything, she would make her pets get along. So I suppose her pets don't get along. I don't know. But then she says that she would buy a parrot, she would buy a horse, and then she would buy chickens. And I don't know if these are all the animals that she wants to get along or if she already has pets that she needs to get along. I'm not really sure. But Then she says, after buying all the animals, she would hire someone to clean up after the pets. So basically, she's saying that she wants all the stuff with none of the responsibility of taking care of all the stuff. So yeah, I guess that sounds about right. Anyway, this other guy answers the question and he says, in this world where people are alone and even lost, though they have people surrounding them at every point of time, I plan to have a cafe, restaurant, bookstore, hangout location where no one ever walks out alone. I'm actually kind of scared here, but he says it's a place which allows new people in a city to connect with other people in the city and get to know someone in the city to avoid feeling the alienation in a new place. He says that each visitor could type out a few lines because he says people judge handwriting, so they need to type out the lines. Type out lines about himself or herself and anyone in search of like-minded people could choose to meet anyone from amongst those descriptions or add theirs there. So when I read this, my immediate reaction to this was, doesn't this already exist? Isn't this just a building version of Tinder? And then as I read on, it was funny because his very next line was, no, it would not be a brick and mortar version of Tinder. And that was totally freaking me out because I just thought that in my head. And then he answered my question. So I believe it's just a building version of Tinder. Yeah. So anyway, one person said that they would learn how to speak French. Now, I can kind of get on board with that maybe, but I think that there are already apps for that and they make it pretty easy these days to learn that. So maybe he should just download a free app or just go pay $1.99 for an app or whatever to learn how to speak French. I don't know. Maybe he wants it completely like downloaded in his head. I don't know if he could do anything. Then yeah, I guess if I could do anything, then I would have a language suddenly like downloaded to my brain. But I guess that kind of negates the whole do anything because I wouldn't be doing anything because it would automatically be downloaded to my brain, which would mean that I'm not actually doing anything to learn French. Okay, so anyway, another person said that they would exile themselves to a lonely island and bring nothing except a shovel, a fishing rod, a multi-tool, and a heavy-duty tarp. And as far as I know, I think that you can already do that without having to put that in the if I could do anything category. I don't know. So these are clearly not the answers that I was hoping for. And I think that I probably find them humorous more than anything. I do want to share a couple more, though. One guy answered that he would travel to the most dangerous parts of Chicago and Detroit in order to share the stories of gang members. Now, that would take some real courage. This one really intrigued me, though, because there is a small part of me that would love to be able to do something like that, too. I love talking with people about their stories. I love finding out where they came from and what got them to where they are, what made them make those decisions, like just the brain power behind why they are where they are. And I just love listening to that kind of stuff. And I think that I would love knowing that I had the courage to go somewhere and do something like that too. That would be really cool. So not only doing it, but knowing that I had the courage to do it would be amazing. So while preparing for this episode, I asked my husband what he would do if he could do anything. And his answer at the moment is, I would go buy some new glasses. So clearly that was not the answer that I was looking for or even thought that he would give at that moment. But after a little bit of a laugh and a little more coaxing for him to actually give me a real answer, he quickly changed it to, I would go to the Bahamas and charter a sailboat. Now that was a good answer to me because I would for real do the same. So that would be amazing. And really, the only thing stopping us now is the fact that I am a little scared of all the preparation that it would take in order to make that happen. The actual event itself is nowhere near as overwhelming and scary to me as getting everything in order just to go on that long, amazing trip. But we are currently taking applications for house sitters, just so you know. Just kidding. But I think that that's probably what it would take because I am not emotionally ready to sell everything, S-E-L-L, in order to sell everything, S-A-I-L. See what I did there? A little clever, huh? So in reality, though, that's really all it would take in order for us to go on that trip. When I think about it, it seems like it would really not be much to get us there. So sometimes I think that if I wait until I am emotionally ready to go, then I'll never go. So I think that when we originally started thinking about traveling, we would often think in terms of when our boys were a little bit older. And maybe that was just an excuse, but it always seemed that when the boys were older, it would be easier. You know, they can help out. They don't require as much one-on-one help or, watching or whatever. Like they're older. They can help take care of themselves a little bit more. And now that the boys are older, we think, man, if the boys were just younger, because now we have college to prepare for and all the fun that goes along with just them being a teenager that we don't want them to miss out on. And had they missed out on other stuff in their earlier childhood, they may have not noticed or missed that as much as the stuff that they will miss out on during their teenage years. And when it really comes down to it, I hear that the only thing holding us back really is fear. And that's it. Fear. F-E-A-R. And every excuse that I have used so far has been based on fear of the unknown. Like, what if? And I totally realize that. So, see, just because I have a podcast encouraging you to create the life that you love to live doesn't mean that I am already there myself. If you listen to my last episode, you will know that this actually ties into that whole concept as well. However, we aren't completely shying away from our dreams. We've had other dreams that we have recently taken steps toward, and it's been absolutely amazing. My husband has left his day-to-day routine of brick and mortar and has started contracting for live event production, and he absolutely loves it. It took a lot to get him to this decision, like God literally pushing him into this direction, which totally lines up with my husband's favorite verse, which is Ephesians 3:20. God can do anything, far more than you could ever imagine or guess or request in your wildest dreams. He does it not by pushing us around, but by working within us, his spirit deeply and gently within us. So that thing that we immediately think of when we think, if I could do anything, I would blah. Well, if that's something that God has put inside of us, then why would he not gently push us toward that dream? Some people think that if that dream is not directly like ministry related, you're not going to a church and preaching to people or on the streets and preaching to people or whatever, kind of ministry related, then it's not from God. And that is not true at all. We have no idea who is being affected or blessed or changed because we ourselves followed our dream. So we watch this YouTube thing a lot. I'm sure you've probably heard of that, YouTube, right? So we watch YouTube a lot and like a whole lot. Like we probably watch YouTube more than any other form of entertainment out there. But we have a few people who we follow regularly and they totally inspire us. Whether it's inspiration on a better way to clean our house, cooking inspiration, house maintenance, or even sailing inspiration, some people who we watch more than anyone are right now sailing around the world on a catamaran. And I would consider what they do as a ministry to us or those who desire to do the same thing or just desire to do something big and need to see someone else who has already gone before them and done it as well. So sometimes I think that we get caught up that we are only in the ministry to others if we work at a church or are involved in some kind of churchy organization, but that's simply not true at all. I know that that has been me, and I have completely changed my thought process on that. We can all be ministers in some way or another to those who are around us and who need inspiration to follow their dreams. So God tells us in 1 Thessalonians 5:11 to encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. And I love that. We can encourage and uplift others just by being a simple inspiration in what we are doing right where we are. So right where I am right now, I want to inspire you that if God has given you a dream, know that He will help you see it through. But He's not going to completely do it for you. You need to do your part and take your steps toward that goal or dream. And God will open those doors that you need that you never knew could be open. He will also close the doors that you thought needed to be open, but didn't. You just got to trust Him. And He will provide opportunities for you to become the person you inspire to be, because that's what He wants for you. God put that dream or vision in your heart for a reason. And it's also His desire to see it through with you. And yes, I said with you. Because He is not going to give you a dream, then leave you hanging in order for you to figure it all out yourself. He really does not work like that. Okay, you have to do the work though. He may open doors and provide opportunities for you that can only be divine opportunities, but you have to put in your part of the work. And you also have to recognize those divine opportunities. You have to go for it. You have to take the leap. You have to make the most of every opportunity that is given to you. Seize the day. So today I want to encourage you to take that step towards your anything goal. Seek out an opportunity that gets you one step closer to if I could do anything dream. One tiny step closer is still closer. 1% is still closer. 0.5% is still closer. Once you start making that move, then another move, then another move, the closer and closer you get. Then eventually you realize that you have made great progress. And the ball gets rolling faster and faster to where you finally arrive in a moment that you've never thought you would ever be. So I'd like to point out that most of the if I could do anything dreams are actually not that unobtainable. We just make them unobtainable in our heads because of fear. And if we think it, it must be a reality. And when in reality, that thought is just based on fear. So I'd love to hear what your answer would be to if I could do anything, I would. So leave me a comment and tell me what that is. And yes, as always, thank you for listening to today's episode of Tea of Life Podcast. I hope that I was able to inspire you at least a little to start or continue progress toward your dreams. I love you, and I cannot wait till we talk again. If you like Tea of Life Podcast and you've got two friends who want to create the life that they love to live, tell them about us. Find us on your favorite social media platform like Facebook or Instagram. Also, right now before you forget, go to Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts and search for Tea of Life Podcast. Hit the subscribe button and never miss an episode. Thank you for listening to Tea of Life Podcast. We will see you next Thursday.